It means keep going, don't quit, and then fight on to the objective, no matter how difficult the challenge is. And that's what your soldiers have been doing for the past 10 weeks. So if someone says always forward to you, you reply with always forward. So let's try that again. Always forward.
Always forward.
Much better, much better. Colonel Sheehan, Colonel Shade, Colonel and Mrs. Nieberding, Colonel Nelson, Colonel Retired Medlin, Colonel Retired Herman, Command Sergeant Major Christian, Command Sergeant Major Barnes, Command Sergeant Major Phillips, Command Sergeant Major Wright, Command Sergeant Major Retired Thompson, Command Sergeant Major Retired Gerke, the ROTC Department from Brooklyn, Casey, former soldiers, distinguished guests, family and friends of the Army's newest soldiers, thank you for attending the 1st Battalion, 34th Infantry Regiment graduation ceremony today. For those of you for whom this is their first visit to an Army post, welcome. And for those that attended Family Day yesterday, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your time yesterday with your soldier and saw all the changes, both visible and not so visible, in your loved ones. Recently, I was reading a magazine and came across an article about Australia. The article talked about the beauty of the country and its wonders, to include the Great Barrier Reef. For those who are unfamiliar with the Great Barrier Reef, it is the world's biggest single structure made by living organisms, billions of tiny coral. It stretches for 1,400 miles and lies off the coast of northeast Australia. It is so massive it can be seen from space. But what really piqued my interest about the article were the pictures. The coral on the eastern side of the Great Barrier Reef, the side that faces the ocean, was colorful, vibrant, and beautiful. But the coral on the western side, the side that faces the mainland, was dull and gray. The reason for this is because the dull gray coral lies in still water and is protected from the harshness of the ocean by the reef itself. But the coral on the eastern side is beautiful. It's in turbulent water and is struggling for survival. It's constantly being tested by strong wind, waves, storms, great surges of power. It's this constant testing that forces the coral to grow strong and healthy, while the untested coral remains stagnant and dies. You see, it's the same way with the soldiers standing on the field in front of you. For the past 10 weeks, they too have been tested. They have been tested on their ability to complete a series of Army tasks, fire their weapon with pinpoint accuracy, throw live hand grenades, navigate through the woods with a map and a compass, crawl further than the length of a football field with live ammunition flying over their heads, run faster and further than ever before, survive in a chemical environment, operate in the woods for days at a time, and many other tasks. They have been tested on their ability to learn and apply the Army values: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. Values that will serve them well every day for the rest of their lives, whether they serve one term of enlistment or for the next 30 years. They have been tested on their ability to work as part of a team, and for some, this may have been the most difficult task. Today we are graduating 835 soldiers from 47 states, 3 U.S. territories, and 31 countries. To put it in perspective, think of that coworker you may not be fond of. Now imagine yourself working, eating, sleeping, and showering next to that person for 24 hours a day for 10 weeks. It's tough, but in the end you work together and accomplish the mission. They were tested while enduring the harshness of the weather, the extreme temperature changes from the low 80s to the low 20s, sometimes in the freezing rain. But like the coral on the eastern side of the Great Barrier Reef, they have thrived. They are resilient, stronger than ever before. The ones standing before you have passed the test and have proven themselves worthy to wear the title American Soldier. During Victory Block Leave, I went home like many of your soldiers did to spend time with my family. While at home, I discussed college plans with my aunt for her grandson, my cousin. While researching college applications, we came across an article that talked about how millions of high school students were filling out college applications. One of the lines in the article read, "America's best and brightest will soon leave the safety of home and head into the unknown of colleges across the country. I thought about that line for a few minutes and I realized the author was wrong. The best and brightest are not filling out college applications for next fall. They're standing on this field behind me. These 835 soldiers standing on the field behind me raised their right hand and said, "Me." Me. One of the things the Great Barrier Reef does is it protects the coast of Northeast Australia from the violence of the storms, from the dangers outside its borders. When this country says, we need somebody to protect our borders from outside, from those who wish to destroy us, who will we send? The soldiers on the field replied, "Me." When this country says we need somebody to protect our interests abroad, who will we send? The reply has been me. And when the tidal wave of terrorism threatens to wash away freedom and destroy our way of life, and the president turns to his advisors and says, "Who will we send?" the reply has already been, "Send me." They are less than 1% of this population that raises their hand and says, "Me," when this country asks for somebody to defend it. They are the best and brightest this country has to offer. Today we're fortunate enough to have others with us today that are part of this sacred group, former and current warriors. Except for today's new soldiers on the field, I'd like for everyone who has ever worn the uniform of the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, or Coast Guard to please stand up. Thank you for your service. Preparing these soldiers for combat has been the responsibility of the cadre and the drill sergeants of the Leyte Dragons. During the past 10 weeks, these men and women have been focused on one thing: the future success of your soldier in the Army and his or her survival and victory on the battlefield. I can assure you that they take this responsibility seriously, as they know that the life one of these soldiers may save in the future on some distant battlefield could be theirs. And for some of our drill sergeants, this is their last cycle. From Bravo Company, we say goodbye to Drill Sergeant Tabah. From Charlie Company, we say goodbye to Drill Sergeants Dahl and Stevenson. From Echo Company, we say goodbye to Drill Sergeants McFarland and Milani. Please join me in a round of applause as we recognize the tremendous efforts they and all the captains have exerted. Soldiers on the field, you have each accomplished a great achievement by completing basic combat training. You all should be proud. But like I told you at the rites of passage ceremony, you are not merely completing basic combat training, you are beginning your new life. You have become a valued member of the most elite segment of society in America, the U.S. military. I bid you all good luck and Godspeed. Always forward.
Always forward.
Strike strong. Victory starts here.
Today's soldier is above all a warrior, adaptive, confident, and competent. As a soldier, you are totally committed to the warrior ethos, grounded in Army values and determined to destroy enemies of the United States of America and their allies. The United States Army Soldier's Creed embodies this commitment. The uniform you wear at this moment is more than an outward display of your vocational choice. Your uniform is a symbol of a nation, an unspoken assurance to all who see that you are a willing and able protector of the freedoms fought so arduously for by all who have gone before, and those who will bravely come after. You have become what you set out to be, a soldier in the United States Army. The Soldier's Creed is your declaration of your unshakable commitment to the ideals this nation was founded upon and will continue to guarantee. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as Private Samuel Strong leads the soldiers standing before you to the reciting of the Soldier's Creed. Ladies and gentlemen, once the ceremony has concluded, family members of the awardees may meet their soldier at the tents located to the left of the bleachers. All other family members and friends may meet their soldier to the far right of the bleachers at the end of the parade field. We ask that you please remain seated and in the bleachers until all soldiers have passed the reviewing stand and the playing of the Army song is complete. You are reminded that as you are approached by the American flag, it is appropriate to rise and remain standing until it has passed to your right. Second Army Band is directed by Chief Warrant Officer Thomas W. Jackson Jr. The drum major is Staff Sergeant Oswaldo Arroyo. led by Drill Sergeant Gabriel Lozano from Los Angeles, California. Fourth platoon is led by Drill Sergeant Jennifer Clayton from Portland, Texas. In the rear of the formation is the First Sergeant Virgil Livingston from Lawrence, South Carolina. Bravo Company is commanded by Captain Steve Gorman from Westchester, Ohio. First platoon is led by First Sergeant Brian Arlett from St. Louis, Pennsylvania. Second platoon is led by First Sergeant Neil Rankin from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Third platoon is led by Drill Sergeant Jacob Stevens from North Texas. Fourth platoon is led by Drill Sergeant Lamont Davenport from Sacramento, California.